So we're gonna do a little opinion piece today. And as you know, like, opinions are like buttholes. You know, everybody has one and most of them stink. So I want you to sit back, relax, and let me show you my butthole for a bit. This is a serious Kusojiji move, unless you're gonna stop at the convenience store. Oh no, Kusojiji move all the way right here. So here's my butthole. Here's my stinky little butthole for you. By the way, if you disagree, tell me why you disagree, but I'm fucking never wrong, so I mean, don't even waste your time. Okay, so I don't think that the, you know it's serious when my voice goes, I don't think that the CBR 250R, the new one, the modern one. By the way, before I get too far, they're making a new one. It looks like they're going to be making a 2-cylinder CBR again soon, which that might change what I'm going to say today. But the current CBR 250R, I don't think it's a sport bike, and I don't think any of the Ninja 250 or the R3 or the Ninja 300, I do not think they are sport bikes. Not in the least. I think that the only thing that's sport bikey about them is the way their fairings look, but the seating position, the power, the suspension, the brakes is nothing. They're not sport bikes to me. And I said this before in a hangout I did with some Australian guys. Somebody said, but I have a CBR 250 and it's a sport bike because I can go faster on the track. Well, you can go faster on a lot of tracks with a lot of different bikes. And I'm not saying, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that these bikes are not good bikes, because I'm sure they're great bikes, but it's like, you know, just because I take the 2 seats, if I've got a Toyota Camry and I take the seats out of the back, it doesn't make it a sports car. It just means that it's a, you know, it's just aesthetics. So let's talk about what is a sport bike. You're asking me, you say, Kansai Rider, what's a sport bike then? I'll tell you what a sport bike is. Hold your fucking horses. So a sport bike is a purpose-built machine, I think, you know? I'm just gonna use a CBR 250, but when I say that, lump in all these other little beginner single-cylinder bikes and with it. I think Honda wants you to think that if they put sport bike fairings on a standard bike, it's gonna be a sport bike, but to me, I think that's what matters the least about what makes a sport bike a sport bike. A sport bike is, you know, what it can do and what it was built for. It's to go fast. A purpose-built machine to go fast. You know, no corners were cut. Function over form. You know, like people, there's a reason why sport bikes are shaped the way they are, and why the seating position is the way they are, and why the, you know, everything about if you look at a 1000cc sport bike, everything is there for a reason. Everything is there. Everything serves a purpose. And if you look at a CBR 250, it's like this was put here to look like the big bike. This was put like this to look like the big bike. Multi-cylinder engine, nah, we don't need it. Let's put in the thumper. Are we gonna flip a Yui? I hope we're flipping a Yui, or is he crazy going down there? Old man is a fucking pro. He's kicking my ass today. By the way, I have no idea. He's just gonna take me up in these mountains and murder me, because I had no idea that half of these little trails existed before now. Deep as oh, another CRF. Yeah, buddy. 230F, okay. So I just met up with these guys. Whoa, it's steep. And they're all a bunch of guys in their 50s and 60s, and I guess they tear it up. And I'm gonna be the American who can't do a damn thing today. Everybody, so Honda said, okay, well let's put this on the bike to make it look like a sport bike. Let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. But forget about adding, you know, decent suspension. And I mean, I'm not saying it's not decent, but I'm just saying it's just budget stuff. I mean, like, honestly, I don't think there's really such thing as a budget sport bike unless you're buying a used, legit bike, legit sport bike. So let's see. So let's yeah. So Honda says, yeah. Let's put this suspension on it. Let's make it adjustable. Nah. Let's put some brakes on it. But let's just put a single rotor in the front. Okay. Let's nothing is outstanding about the bike, and I feel like that's what makes a sport bike, is a sport bike is outstanding. And then let's look what can it do. You know, what can it do that a big scooter can't? You know what I mean? Because like a big scooter and a sport bike should be able to do different things. Can I go quickly on our corners? Yes. I mean, you can. So which is what I think, if you want to get into riding, oh sorry, it's early in the morning still. If you want to get into riding and go on track riding, if you want a capable bike, I think you're better off buying a dual sport, because this bike can do anything that I mean, it's a little less powerful. It's got a little less power than the CBR, this bike. So the acceleration is down a little bit, and but that's it. Top speed doesn't change so much. But this bike, you can go basically wherever you want to go. And if you put even with these tires, you know, like, it can corner decently. But imagine if you put some street tires on a bike like this, you'd be able to tear up the corners just as well as the sport bike would. So that's just my 2 cents. I'm not anti 250. Obviously, I wouldn't, because I wouldn't have bought this bike. I'm not anti sport bike. Obviously, I'm not, because I've got my CBR. I'm just anti calling something what it isn't. Ooh, that's cool. Wow, look at that view though, guys. A CBR 250 or the Ninja 250 is a standard bike with sport fairings. I think you should call it the CB 250 Sport. Man, this road is awesome. I gotta come back around my CBR. Bust a kneecap on one of these reflectors. They welcomed me into their off-road club. So that's nice. It's called Trek Junkie, but it's got an extra N. 2 guys behind me. The oldest guy is 64. The youngest is 52. I want to do a wheelie. That was a weak wheelie. I disgraced my homeland. Let's compare the bike. I know I did this on a different video, but let's compare the bike to an actual sport bike. The CCs don't really matter so much. You know, if it was a cutting edge 250cc bike, you know, that they put some money and some attention to make sure that it did what it was designed to do well, it would have been, yeah, like, I got nothing against a low cc bike. The CBR 250RR from 1990, the MC22, it had you know, fully adjustable suspension. It had dual discs in the front. The engine made 45 horsepower compared to about the 25-ish. I don't know. I don't even think the CBR 250 makes 25 horsepower. You know, like, everything that it could do was extreme, and that's what to me, that's what a sport bike is. I'm just saying, there's no such thing as a budget starter commuter sport bike. It's either one or the other. You can have a sport fared commuter, a sport fared standard, but there's no such thing as a commuter sport bike, in my opinion, in my stinky butthole opinion. Probably forgot about some stuff. I'll put the rest in annotations, I suppose, or little subtitles, whatever. Thanks for watching, guys. We are gonna have a lot of fun today with these old guys in the Kuso GG Club. See you guys.